A complex riddle that you can obsess over until you fit all the pieces together and finally see the big picture. Films that fall into that category can be some of the most frustrating, yet rewarding, filmic experiences you'll ever have, depending on how much you value your brain. There's nothing wrong with watching a movie that you can just turn your mind off, relax, or multitask while watching, but sometimes we need a little more. This list contains the movies with the best plot twists and endings that didn't let you sleep. Starting the list with number 10, The Game, 1997. The game is supposed to be fun, but becomes life-threatening. After a wealthy banker is given an opportunity to participate in a mysterious game, his life is turned upside down when he becomes unable to distinguish between the game and reality. Douglas said his moody, tormented performance was inspired in part by the divorce proceedings he was going through during the shoot. It was a time for me to use a lot of myself in the picture, he recalled. The game wasn't the massive hit. Still, the $50 million production earned a healthy $48 million in North America, and a total of $109 million worldwide. Now, this is a classic. Number 9, Psycho, 1960. Movie Psycho is regularly voted among the most innovative, acclaimed, and scariest movies ever made. Celebrating its 60th anniversary next year, Psycho is a tale of paranoia, voyeurism, violence, and, of course, parental influences. For its time, Psycho was a revolution. Famed not only for its stylistic horror elements, Psycho featured one of the first ever twists. It could even be the twist. No matter what era you're from, when you discover that it's Norman Bates himself donning a wig and pretending to be his mother whilst murdering innocent patrons, it's impossible not to be gobsmacked. On our 8th spot, we have The Prestige. A film that's all about misdirection and the art of deception, The Prestige follows rival magicians Angier and Borden. Over time, we learn that there isn't much that the two wouldn't do to outperform the other, including emotional manipulation, physical harm, and even murder. Both, however, are baffled by each other's main and final trick, spending their entire lives trying to outperform the other. In the end, however, we learn that Borden is really two people, twins living a half-life in order to sustain the greater illusion. Angier, on the other hand, is generating clones with the help of Nikola Tesla and killing them at the end of each performance. Now that's a magic trick. Number 7, Memento. A movie that's as confusing for its audience as it is for the amnesia-afflicted main character Leonard, played by Guy Pearce, Memento is a schizophrenic memory trip in the best possible way. Searching for his wife's murderer through a series of complicated and vague clues that he leaves himself, but ultimately forgets, we find out in the end that his paramour survived the home invasion he initially thought had resulted in her death. Turns out she was killed later by Leonard himself, and once again, Nolan fires a direct hit at our frontal cortex. This is a movie in which you'll find yourself piecing the puzzle together along with the main character. Now in number 6, Hereditary. It is a horror movie, but not like the typical one. Hereditary is more complex than the typical horror film. It is a film about a family that begins to discover dark secrets about their past after the passing of their grandmother. It's not your average horror film. This one requires the viewer to pay attention and pick up little details that they will piece the story together in the end. Hereditary hints throughout the film that the grandmother might be some kind of the witch. It's even mentioned that at one point she tried to put people in Annie's late brother. Long story short, and after some extremely graphic and terrifying imagery, it turns out that the Grahams were simply pawns in the Coven's grand plan to summon one of the 8 kings of hell. Next is number 5, with Fight Club. There are many films since who have copied the formula, and yet none have come close. Starring Ed Norton and Brad Pitt, Fight Club explores themes of nihilism, depression, worthlessness, and anarchy. Tying these grim elements together, however, is the revelation. Fight Club follows a man with insomnia and depression as he meets an unusual salesman named Tyler Durden, played by Brad Pitt. Together, they decide to put together an underground club to fight other men who are tired of their lives, called Fight Club. But in Fight Club, there's much more to the characters than you're shown. It's up to you how much you can figure out. Number 4, Get Out. A dark satire on race and equality in America today. Get Out was an instant hit when it arrived in theaters. Get Out is about a romantic getaway gone weirdly wrong. Get Out follows Chris, a young man who's going on a romantic getaway at his girlfriend's parents' house. Her parents' odd behavior towards him leads him to believe they're uncomfortable with their interracial relationship. But as he spends more time there, he begins to uncover that the town as a whole is a lot weirder than he initially thought. caught up in the path of long-standing business of kidnapping African Americans in order to supplant aging, rich white people in their minds, Chris escapes and satisfyingly murders the whole lot of them. Down to our number 3 with Gone Girl. Gone Girl, adapted for the screen by Gillian Flynn from her novel and directed by David Fincher, is a great many things. It's a potboiler thriller. It's a twisty, turny series of big surprises. It's the blackest of black comedies. It's a series of dueling character studies. When a writer, Ben Affleck, becomes the prime suspect in the disappearance of his wife, new details emerge about the truth of their relationship and who they truly are. This movie becomes engaging for the viewer as everything unfolds, and more is learned about the crime. Gone Girl garnered awards and nominations in a variety of categories, with praise for its direction, Mike's performance, Flynn's screenplay, and its soundtrack. According to many viewers, Gone Girl is one of the best movies ever made about marriage. On our number 2 spot, we have The Sixth Sense. Forever etching I See Dead People into the minds of millennials everywhere, The Sixth Sense is a classic horror with a crazy twist. When a young boy meets with a psychologist and reveals that he can see ghosts, the psychologist becomes interested in understanding the child's abilities. As he begins to discover he may not be lying after all, The Sixth Sense has one of the most classic plot twists in all of cinema. Backed by a powerhouse cast of both child megastar Haley Joel Osment and mega adult star Bruce Willis, when we discover that the main character was dead the whole time, we can't help but accept that our brains are now a smoldering pile of rubble. Topping our list for mind-boggling movies of all time, we have the movie The Others. Starring Nicole Kidman as Grace, The Others does an amazing job of flipping a classic ghost story on its head. Grace takes her 2 children to the English coast during World War II, to live in a big, creepy house and await word on her missing husband. The house is always dark too, as Grace's children suffer from a rare photosensitivity disease that causes them to burn severely in the sun. Not long after, shit gets spooky in the big dark house, and the kids claim that they are seeing ghosts. For the length of the film, we believe we're seeing this family tortured by the otherworldly, until right at the end we discover that Anne and her kids are the real ghosts, and that the noises and moving objects around the house are the living and the new owners of the house. Okay, that is it for today's video. Have you seen any of these movies on the list? You better list down these movies and watch it during your movie night with your loved ones. Let us know in the comments section below which one you would like to watch first. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, District 10 TV, for more videos like this. You may check out our previous videos as well. Thank you for watching, and see you in our next video.